Hello, my name is Elisa Mattingly, and today I'm going to be arguing for the inclusion of Soul Gone Home by Langston Hughes into the Norton Anthology of African American Literature. The one-act play was published in 1963 and tells the story of Ronnie, a boy who died of malnourishment, and his mother, a prostitute living in poverty. I will discuss the literary merits as well as the social significance of the one-act play. Soul Gone Home exhibits multiple literary merits, including alliteration, repetition, and the use of motherhood imagery, which demonstrates the impact race had on economic disparity, the role of racial discrimination on these economic disparities, and the impact these disparities had on the family dynamic of Black Americans. While there are several literary merits within the piece, I will discuss only a few of these, including the alliteration and repetition of the words borned, burden, and bastard, as well as motherhood imagery included within the play. First of all, Hughes uses the word borned instead of gave birth throughout the play. The use of borned signifies that there was no choice for the mother. She did not give Ronnie life, she borned him. This also connects back to the meaning of born or to bear. Born is used in the context of bearing difficulties or tragedies. This signifies that Ronnie's mother had to bear motherhood. It was not something she enjoyed, and the added poverty aspect of it just made it that much harder. This connects to the repeated use of burden. This obviously connects back to the fact that Ronnie was a burden to his mother. He could not work when she needed him to, and he was just another mouth for her to feed. The final connection is that of bastard. She uses it one time to describe Ronnie. Ronnie is obviously a literal bastard, but according to the Oxford English Dictionary, bastard is also used vulgarly as a term of abuse for a man or boy. This connects back to Ronnie's inferiority because of his poverty and the fact that his mother did resent him for the fact that she had to feed him and he did not help in the matter. The final literary merit displayed in Soul Gone Home is that of motherhood imagery. One of these images is of milk and eggs. Ronnie says that when he was diagnosed with tuberculosis, the doctor told him that he needed to be nourished through things like milk and eggs. Ronnie's mother could not afford milk and eggs and gave him beans instead. Ronnie blames the lack of milk and eggs he was given for his death, therefore blaming his mother for his death. Milk is the ultimate image of motherhood, as it is the first food a child is given and one of the main ways that it can survive. Not providing it means not being a real mother. The fact that Ronnie's mother was unable to provide Ronnie with milk shows that she was a failure as a mother. The egg is the protection of a chick as it grows. This signifies that Ronnie was not given protection or safety from his mother, furthering the idea that she was a failure to him. These literary merits connect back to the social significance of Soul Gone Home. Hughes uses the one-act play to display the racially based economic disparities, and that these disparities were a result of the idea that white people held that Black people were inferior and deserved less opportunity and pay. Ronnie's mother is given less opportunity, education, and wage, and had to go to extremes in order to feed her child. She has to go to the extreme of prostitution in order to feed herself and her child. Prostitution was something that Black women had to endure in order to help their families survive. It was not a choice that they enjoyed or a choice that they would have picked, but because they were not given the opportunity or equal pay or equal education, it was all that they could do. Many Black people were forced into inescapable poverty and had to do what they could to survive and feed their families. The economic disparities are a result of the pattern of racially based oppression. It was easier for white people to believe that Black people were lazy or had poor work ethic or poor work skills, rather than believe that white people were intentionally keeping them in poverty in order to maintain their place of superiority. This racially based oppression resulted in to many Black children being born into poverty. Those born into poverty were much more likely to drop out of school, they were more likely to suffer child abuse or neglect, and they were more likely to die young. Ronnie is an example of all three of these possible outcomes. Not only did he have to drop out of school in order to help his mother feed himself and her, he was also neglected and not given proper nourishment. And as a result of all of these things, he ended up dying. These racially based economic disparities caused familial resentments, especially in single mother-headed families. A single mother did not have another person to help her feed her family. Therefore, she was more likely to resent her children as burdens because they were more mouths to feed. All of these things are exemplified in Soul Gone Home by Langston Hughes. The play demonstrates multiple literary merits, including alliteration, repetition, and imagery. Beyond that, it also shows the social significance of the time that Langston Hughes was living in. It portrays the extreme consequence of racially based economic disparities and shows the resentment that these families felt toward one another as a result of their poverty. I hope that you will consider including Soul Gone Home by Langston Hughes into the next edition of your anthology. Thank you so much for your time.